The Argentine Foreign Minister is in London. He's pressing the case that Britain should negotiate away the sovereignty of the Falklands, saying it's a colonial hangover. You're here to rebut that. Why do you think he's wrong?
I think he's wrong because we have peacefully settled those islands, apart from the brief interruption when they invaded in 1982, for about 180 years. My family's been there since 1842 and spans 9 generations. I think the people who live in those islands and who've made them what they are the ones who should say what the future of the islands should be.
But the Argentine government says that you are essentially planted in the island and therefore your views do not have legitimate standing in international law.
The islands were settled like all the Americas and New Zealand in waves over a long period. We're different from most of the Americas in that there was no indigenous population, so we didn't displace or rule over anyone else.
I think it's also quite important to remember that in the past we did have those sort of relationships with Argentina. We made a number of agreements with them under the Menem government with the Foreign Minister Guido di Tergia, and this seems to be a complete change about now with the Kirchner government and the Foreign Minister Hector Timmerman, where they simply refuse to acknowledge our existence and refuse to talk to us.
And what do you think explains that turnabout?
I don't know really. I think there's probably a degree of populism and nationalism, I think, involved within Argentina. I think internally Argentine politics are getting more and more difficult. Life for the ordinary Argentines is getting more and more difficult. I think there is a large degree of dissatisfaction with their own government, and it's very handy to use the Falklands as a convenient distraction.
Jan, you were supposed to meet with William Hague while he was meeting with Mr. Timmerman. Are you disappointed that meeting couldn't happen? Are you offended in any way by his reaction?
Disappointed, not surprised or offended. I'm sure we'll have an opportunity at some distant point in the future.
So you don't take it as the snub that it was intended to be?
Because we anticipated it would be unlikely that he would be willing, given their stance on ignoring the existence even of the islanders. They forget that the islanders are what this whole thing is about. It's not about land, it's about people.
So you don't feel that in some ways you're a David up against a Goliath?
It's not a comparison I'd really thought about.
No. What do you think you need to do over the next week or so while he's here? Do you think that you do need to address those groups and sections, such as the MPs who are hosting him in Parliament, to get your message across?
We certainly take every opportunity we can to talk to members of Parliament, and we attend party conferences every year. So many have a very good briefing already on the Falkland situation, and we have a lot of friends.
Right. And he seems to want to bring a European dimension to this. What is the balance of sentiment in Europe about the issue?
Well, in legal terms, we are recognised under, I think, the Treaty of Lisbon as an overseas territory of the UK, who Mr. Timmerman will wheel out as his European supporters. I await with interest.
Because you think it'll be a small faction or a fringe faction?
Yes.
Well, thank you for that. I guess the last question I'd like to ask is, when you go back, what will you be telling people about the reception you've had here, and what do you think you'll be saying about Mr. Timmerman's reception?
Well, the thing that I suppose the strongest message that I can possibly give is we need to talk. Now, the Argentine government says it wants to talk. We want to talk. The British government is very happy for that talk to happen, but we have to be included in that dialogue, and I would hope that at some stage that we can have a sensible dialogue with the Argentine government.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.